For tonight in our conversation around Auckland's climate plan, we're going to hear from Matthew Blakie, Auckland Council's Chief Sustainability Officer. We're going to all right. I want to come to more events where that gets a whoop. And here's the thing tonight. Many of us have a vested interest in Auckland, but to be fair, within the very near future, many of us are going to be dead. So, tonight, when we have this conversation, there are some little tamariki here. I'm thinking of my 7-year-old daughter, her classmates who are out there in the foothills of the Waitakitis. In many ways, this conversation is about them, because they are going to be the legacy that we leave. I have been in this city for 30 years, and I have seen massive change in that time, and I know that they are going to see change beyond my comprehension by the time they reach my elderly age. So that is what we're talking about tonight. We have a limited amount of time to get through, so we're going to hear from Matthew. We're going to have a panel discussion, but we want you, the citizens of Auckland, to be able to ask your questions as well. This is a conversation not simply between us, but amongst all of us. So if you have questions, that is excellent. We're going to be using Slido, which is an interactive Q&A audience tool, which means that not only can you ask questions, but people who are sitting in the comfort of their homes or on a bus or in their car, hopefully not in traffic, chances are they will be, can also ask a question as well. There is the thing. So you go to slido.com, you enter the hashtag climate, AK, I don't think you need to put the hashtag on, do you? Just enter climate, no, you don't need the hashtag, climate AKL, and then you can become a part of the conversation. If you want to go on that and feel that you don't want to ask a question as well, you can also upvote some of those questions. If a question pops up and you think it's important and I'm deliberately ignoring it, vote it up to the point that I cannot deliberately ignore it anymore. Although, fair warning, I might. All right. So, let's see. Alternately, I know there are some of you relentlessly analog. If you want to put your hand up and ask a question, you are more than welcome to do that as well. And we'll wait for the mic to come to you, because otherwise people sitting in the comfort of their homes won't hear your question. And remember, a question, not a statement. I am ruthless in that, because I just don't care about statements. All right, I'm going to make some statements now. You're welcome to tweet the event or any one of your social media platforms, whatever they may be, Instagram, LinkedIn, Tinder, don't care. Auckland Conversations, Climate Auckland, Auckland Climate Festival, and various others. I think you can make your own up. All right, so we endeavour to make sure that these are inclusive and accessible, and on-demand viewing, and a full transcript and captioning of the event will be available on the Auckland Conversations website in the next few days. So what are we talking about today? We're talking about radical consultation. In June 2019, let us cast our minds back. I call it June 2019, BC, before COVID. Mayor Phil Goff said, by unanimously voting to declare a climate emergency, we are signaling the Council's intention to put climate change at the front and centre of our decision-making. And Auckland Council, over the years, has done that. They've taken a leadership role in facilitating development of Te Turiki Tāwhiri, Auckland's climate plan, the specific roles and responsibilities around that implementation. Now, that cannot simply be done by edict from the top. Those climate action plans need to be done amongst all of us, with consultation amongst the community, as we discuss a rapid and a fair transition. It requires collaboration and commitment across all of Auckland, from central government, local government, mana whenua, businesses, communities, and citizens young and old. And collaboration is very different to cooperation. Cooperation is about simply working with others to achieve goals. Collaboration is about working with others to produce something together and achieve shared goals. And what's important with collaboration, and particularly radical collaboration, which for some of you may be a relatively new concept, is the way we collaborate, who we collaborate with, and having the vision and the courage to step outside of our comfort zones, whether that be through business or council, the silos that we're in, and even within those of our own personal spheres in our lives, to step outside of those zones and to have the conversations that we need to have with people in our communities. And it's about a few core principles: trust, transparency, reciprocity, openness, and respect. And it also means taking a look around, and we need to do this in our lives, even on a day-to-day basis, and ask who is not a part of this discussion? Who should we be having a discussion with? Unpack the intersections between climate justice, racial justice, economic justice, all of the other deep-seated and deep-rooted inequalities and divisions in society, because this and the decisions that are going to be made affect everybody, but they do not affect everybody equally. And there are many people who feel that their voice, whilst on occasion it may be heard, that their voice is not listened to. Radical collaboration involves actively seeking out those disparate voices and actively listening to them, because people don't feel that they want to be involved unless they believe that they can have the power to make a change. So, when citizens are given the tools and the beliefs that their actions matter, the results can be dramatic. That is the basis, I think, of radical collaboration. So, how does it fit into our overview of Te Taruki Tāwhiri, Auckland's climate plan? Well, the wonderful Mr. Matthew Blakie is going to explain possibly that and many other things. He had a whoop earlier. Let's get another one as we welcome. The Chief Sustainability Officer leads a team responsible for strategic thinking, analysis and advice on sustainability and climate change, including the development and delivery of the plan. The wonderful Chief Sustainability Officer, Auckland Council, Matthew Blakie.
Tēnā koutou katoa kua hui hui mai nei. I mihi ana au ki ngā iwi mana whenua o Tāmaki Makaurau. I mahi ana au hei Chief Sustainability Officer ki Te Kaunihera o Tāmaki Makaurau. Ko Matthew Blakie, toku ingoa. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. Kia ora everyone. My name is Matthew Blakie and I'm the Chief Sustainability Officer at Auckland Council. It's a real privilege to be here tonight for this Auckland Conversation. This Auckland Conversation event as part of the Auckland Climate Festival. Thank you to all of you that have joined us this evening, both in person and online, and thank you for the warm welcome and the introduction, and in particular the whoops. That was very much appreciated. Thank you. So we're here tonight to talk about radical collaboration. I'm here to share a few thoughts on that before the panel discussion. I want to make sure there's enough airtime for the panel discussion, so I'm not going to speak for too long because we have a really fantastic panel to share their thoughts and experiences with you. So in 2019, as Te Radar has rightly pointed out, Auckland Council unanimously approved a climate emergency declaration, signalling Council's intent to put climate change at the front and centre of decision making. In 2020, Auckland Council unanimously approved Te Taruki Tāwhiri, Auckland's climate plan. It sets out a regional approach to climate action. It sets out goals to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 50% by 2030 and transition to net zero emissions by 2050, and also to plan for climate change, so prepare for the impacts of climate change. Te Taruki Tāwhiri was developed in partnership with mana whenua. Te Taruki Tāwhiri calls for us to reframe, reimagine and reset the current system and shift from a human-centred approach to an ecological-centred approach. Te Taruki Tāwhiri sets out actions across 8 priority action areas: natural environment, built environment, transport, economy, communities and coast, food, energy and industry, and it outlines Te Ao Māori principles to inform the development and delivery of climate action across Tāmaki Makaurau under the Te Pua Waitanga o Te Tātai priority in the plan. We collaborated with stakeholders from across Tāmaki Makaurau when we developed Te Taruki Tāwhiri, and many of the team that developed Te Taruki Tāwhiri are in the room this evening, both past and present, and it's great to see all of those members of staff and wider stakeholders that contributed here this evening. Achieving our climate goals will require commitment and action from mana whenua, central government, businesses and communities. It's not something that Auckland Council can do alone. I'd like to acknowledge all of you that contributed to the development of Te Taruki Tāwhiri, and also all of you that are contributing to the delivery of Te Taruki Tāwhiri through climate action in Tāmaki Makaurau. We report annually on the progress on Te Taruki Tāwhiri. We are making progress on delivering on the actions in the plan, but there is a clear need to accelerate the delivery of climate action to meet our climate goals. One way we need to do this is through transforming Auckland's transport system. Kia ora. To give effect to Te Tarakia Tāwhiri, Auckland Council and Auckland Transport have developed a Transport Emissions Reduction Pathway, or TERP. This sets out the transformational changes needed to reduce transport emissions by 64% by 2030, as set out in Te Tarakia Tāwhiri. To deliver on the Transport Emissions Reductions Pathway, successful partnerships and collaboration will be required with a range of partners and stakeholders, including mana whenua, central government, business, and of course, collaboration with communities to deliver new initiatives together to achieve a safer, healthier, and more equitable transport system. This is, as I said, with communities. This is not just about reducing emissions. This is about addressing the existing inequity in the transport system, about addressing safety, about addressing the needless deaths and injuries that we see on Auckland's roads, about creating a future Auckland that enables young people to travel safely through walking, cycling to schools. They don't need to be driven there by their parents. This is about creating a better future for everyone. Transport is a key focus for delivering on our climate goals, but transport does not exist as an isolated sector. It is influenced and dependent on a range of sectors and activities, including how we plan for urban growth, develop our energy system, and of course our behaviours. Cross-sectoral partnerships and collaboration are needed to unlock and enable systemic change, and it is systemic change that we will need. We cannot address this through isolated initiatives specific to independent sectors. It needs to be considered cross-sectorally and through collaboration and partnerships. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Michelle and the Auckland Climate Festival team for establishing the Auckland Climate Festival. Through the events, experiences, and conversations that have occurred over the past month, we've had the opportunity to share knowledge, inspire opportunities for collaboration, and advance collective climate action in Tāmaki Makaurau and beyond. At the Auckland Climate Festival launch event, I said that bold, ambitious climate action is required across everything we do to achieve a just transition to a low-carbon, resilient future. One of my reflections from attending Auckland Climate Festival events over the past month is that we have the knowledge and understanding, and we have most of the strategies, plans, and tools to deliver a just transition to a low-carbon, resilient future. What we now need to do is rapidly increase the pace and scale of delivery through leadership, partnerships, and collaboration to make the change happen at the pace and scale required. I'm sure many of you would agree that collaboration is needed, but how we collaborate to deliver impactful climate action is the key question. As with many challenges, outlining what we need to do is one thing. Understanding how we do it is another. This is one of the reasons I'm very much looking forward to hearing about the experiences and insights from our panel this evening. Kia ora.
Thank you, Matthew. We've got some drivers in the room. Eh? Oh, look, I'm a driver. I live out west, and here's the thing, you know, it's one of the many modes, and I'm looking forward to the fact that actually when we've got our beautiful rail loop and our wonderful cycleways, there'll be less people driving on the road, and I'll be able to drive to where I want to go quicker. So, or enjoy the train and stop at any one of the beautiful stations architecturally designed by some of the incredible designers that we have in the country. I'm going to welcome a panel before I talk myself into a car-based hole. All right.